for this lab, what you will be doing is you will be selecting strong acid versus strong base. You will fill the burette up with a base. You will select, at least for this one, I'm going to be selecting HCl and KOH, which is hydrochloric acid and potassium hydroxide. For your indicator, you will always pick phenolphthalein. And then we can start in on the questions. So the first question that it asks to calculate the pH of the acid before any base is added. So when we look at this, we are going to do to find pH. Remember, it is the negative log of the concentration of our acid. And remember, the concentration of our acid is always in the big M or molarity. So when we're looking at our screen, we have for HCl, we have the molarity of the acid and the volume of the acid. So we need this number here. So all we'll need to do is the negative log of 0.1161. So we'll grab a calculator. You'll hit negative log of 0.1161. That equals, and that gives us our pH. So our pH equals 0.935. So there's the pH for our solution for our acid. Now we need to write the chemical equation that illustrates what happens to HCl when it reacts with KOH. So here we have KOH reacting with HCl. It does not matter the order that it is in, but when they react. So this is a double replacement reaction. So the K is going to pair up with the Cl, and the OH is going to pair up with the H. So you end up with KCl and HOH or H2O. When we look at this, we can go through. We have one potassium, one oxygen, two hydrogen with two hydrogen, and one chlorine and one chlorine. So it's already balanced for us. So we don't have to go through and balance it. If it wasn't balanced, you would have to go through and add in coefficients, in order to make these balanced. But as for now, we can just go through and put ones in. Now we need to titrate to the endpoint as shown in class. So this is going back to the lab. So since we're using the indicator phenolphthalein, our solution, when it's acidic, because that's right now what's in the flask here, it's going to be clear. As you add and it becomes more and more basic, it'll start to become pink. So what you will do is you will add base. So moving this slider, you're going to move it up 2 milliliters or so. Like if you go up to 3, that's fine. But you want to try and keep it as 2 as much as possible. And what you'll do is once you move it to where you want it, you'll let off and it'll add it. And then you'll increase it again. And it'll go 8 and 10. And you're going to keep doing this until the solution flashes pink. So there, I just had it flash pink at 16. So once it does that flash of pink, you then need to go in and, using the dropwise feature, keep adding your base until that pink color stays. And this can be very tedious to get it to work. You'll know, like I said, you'll know that you've reached the end point which is the point when it turns pink and stays pink. And you'll still be able to see this stir rod in there. If you've gone too far, so if you try and use the slider on the side, you'll end up adding way too much to it, and it'll turn a really dark pink, and you'll have to restart the lab over. So this is one of these things that patience is a virtue, and you just need to take your time and going through it. There's no quick way to just jump ahead and get this, because doing this dropwise, you might need to add as much as 2 milliliters to it, and we're adding it in at 0.02 milliliters at a time. And one thing that you might notice is I keep moving my mouse off of the dropper. I've found that if you keep the mouse on there and just try and click through it, it doesn't quite work as well if you move it and then click. If you noticed, it flashed pink and I was off by a little bit, but that's fine. You can actually end up adding a couple extra drops to the solution and it'll still work out. You just need to keep it this nice pink color here and you can still see the stir rod. So now we need to go through all of our calculations.